welcome everyone to the 20th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It's Tuesday, December 5th, 2017, and I believe we're ready to begin another session for today's teaching. I think we might be able to hear from a MOSFET perhaps to start off today's festivities, and perhaps we can get up the public wish or the EC Constitution, depending on what's required there. Hello, MOSFET, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, quite well.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, everyone. I am doing it because the usual suspects are not here, but what we'll do is pick up the threads from where we left off last time. And, as we all know, we have been talking about wishing for quite some time, and we have seen its effect in various places. For example, in improving the situation in Togo. And during the last Tuesday meeting, we saw a certain, shall we say, evolution of this wishing. Mr. Kesh talked about it's as we understand how we apply our soul in our practices of wishing to change various situations for peace, we are beginning to feel a little more comfortable, and in the sense that we know that wishing does take effect, and we're beginning to get an idea of how we can see this wishing taking its effect. So what we had the surprise of hearing is that it's not just wishing. We can even think that we can do what we are thinking in our wishes. And those who have practiced wishing, small things or big things, whatever they may be, it's as they come true, we tend to get a little more confidence that yes, the wishes are happening. Although there is that part in wishing, that unconditional part, in the sense that how the wish manifests, we are not dictating the terms, we are just conveying what we can do and have it come to fruition in its own way. And here we are not only just wishing in the sense that we want something to happen, the peace, or people living without conflicts and fight. And we also see its effect in the sense that as we wish peace, it reflects back on us in ways which is probably unique to each of us. But these feedback, whether it's something happening in our life, usually, from my experience, and I think it's true for some of the people I have interacted with, it's usually very positive. And so these all little bit a little bit of practices and experience, and mm, help us to think in terms of uh, applying these wishes with confidence. Confidence in the sense, as Mr. Kesh pointed out, we can do. We can make the change in a constructive way, and the feedback is also positive. So, well, there is a little bit of sort of hidden, so I won't call it warning, but just a reminder that as we make these positive wishes, it is benefiting a lot of people where the wish is destined to operate, but it also benefit us in ways we did not anticipate, because for it was unconditional. And the hidden messages is that it has to be constructive. So in a way, the destruction brings destruction to others, and it reflects back. So although it's not so much a warning as such as it's a lesson, and we have heard Mr. Kesh talk about it, in as that we, and sometimes we will also make like uh, not so much mistake, but we will have missteps, and in those situations it's not necessarily mm, anything that makes us feel like we have committed a crime or something, but it's just a reminder that we can improve. So the more soul level statement here is we forgive not only ourselves but others who are participating with us, but we don't forget. So we carry forward the lesson in a constructive way in building the peace we are envisioning. So hopefully we will make this happen. So, and this is where the can do starts to materialize. So wishing transforms into can do. And perhaps even there is even a greater step. I won't go there, but there are situations, I will just say that there are situations um, that goes beyond can do. It can, I know it to be true kind of situation, but given where we were, that's at least for me, that's a rare event, but it does from time to time happen. So anyway, this is kind of like I wanted to talk a little bit about wishing and the next step of wishing, that is can do. And perhaps other members or of the councils and core team, and as well as knowledge seekers, they can share their experience in how the wish materializes, and it brings confidence in application in many other things. I may have a little story about the current events of how things are happening where I am later on, but before we get to that, it would be wonderful if we can share our experience of turning wish into something more real in the sense that we can do. So anybody else who wants to talk about this direction of thinking?
I wonder if Gatwa would like to say something. He sort of got the hang of that, I think, during when we were discussing that aspect. And I see we have up here one of the sayings that that he said and he crafted.
Thank you very much, Rick. I don't have much to say except to say that I'm practicing the transition. I mean, the transition from wishing and doing it. So, Mr. Kesh has told us recently that wishes do not exist as such. So, we should say, instead of saying, my wish is, then we should say, uh, I can, I can do whatever you want, whatever your wish is for. And he said that in English language, to say I can do or to say you just do it is different. In that, when you say I can change, I can bring about peace. For example, can bring about global peace. It means that you have considered it. It's not the same as saying I bring global peace. So can is a from my understanding, the word can CN is very important in making this can do, making them happen sooner. But now the question arises, and I don't think that has been answered. When we are saying, I wish to elevate souls or something to that effect, I wish, we used to end that wish by saying, and my wish is my command. So the question now for all of us to discuss would be, so when we say I can bring about global peace, so is that a wish? It's a can do. So should we say, at my ability is my command? I would like to hear what others think.
I
Thank you very
can
much.
make it become true. I can achieve it. It's not necessary even to do.
Okay, you can
You
achieve
can
it. And
achieve
how
by
do
your,
you put that into your command? Do you
so
say, and my ability is my command because it's no longer a wish?
it's enough if I
What can
know. I don't even have to say it in words.
Okay, thank you. That's
But it should
what I
be the
think we have.
attitude. It should be the attitude that I can. Understand? When
Yes.
you put an intention or a wish which you want to be the reality, you can put it in a way that you have no alternative wish or alternative version. So you project a reality, and you don't project a second version of that reality, and you don't put any counter thoughts about, you don't put any if, you don't put any perhaps or something like that.
So, for example, if I wanted to see shooting stars, and because you may understand this better than I do, and in fact I think you do. So, could you put it in a sentence, Sander, like how we would say something that would actually make it happen? That would be very, very important because I've been trying a lot of things, but I can't say I have seen the answers immediately. I know I have seen my wishes come true, but not when I say I can do A, it's too soon to know that they have come true. And I don't know that we have to wait for 14 days. And if that is the case, then it's premature for me to say they have not happened because I have not practiced this version of I can do for 14 days, just in the
Oh,
last few days.
it is important to have a good trust, to have a good confidence, because there may be such a doubt and own confidence, which is actually what is limiting what a soul can do. It's his own consideration about what he's able to do. And in order to get rid of that, maybe it's good to do a training step by step and don't start with push the mountain away. Start with
Exactly. So
smaller
you
things.
a step by step I can do something and do it step by step using your own example that you think may work best for you, Sanda. I would appreciate that very much. And that will definitely help others to formulate their can do or can do's. Thank you.
Gatua, can I say
Yes,
something?
sure.
As you are saying right now, I can do step by step. Earlier, when you said I'm trying to do. There are two different things. When you are trying, the trying means there is a bit of doubt. So if you can make the step, each step a can do step, no matter how small it is, how minuscule it is a tangible progress. Trying is when there is doubt that the words, when we talk, for example, trying, it conveys a certain, shall we say, a bit of lack of certainty or confidence. So once we come to the level of making the steps such that we are sure that we're taking a step, and we may not make it, but we know we can reach this this level from one level to another. It's a small step, so we'll get there. So it's an important part.
Very much, Musbek. But let me take that word back. I meant I am practicing.
Well, that's a different story.
Exactly. That's what I meant. Thank you very much.
Let me add here a little thing. So if you say, and your wish is your command, if you say, I'm trying to change something, that your wish is your command and that you will achieve. You will be trying and trying forever, and you will never accomplish.
We already removed that word. We took back that word. It's
because your wish is your command. So what you wish, that will be. You wish to try, so you will keep trying. But how about to start that practice step by step by a simple statement? I feel good. Can you achieve that easily?
Oh, that I have already achieved. Let's go to the next step.
And the others around me feel good.
Let's go to shooting stars. Something like that.
Yes, it's a problem because there are clouds above our house.
So first you have to remove the clouds first. Shooting stars.
And where to move the clouds? Above others, you don't need it. So you have to consider the other beings as well. You see, weather modification, it's not healthy because there are already technologies, advanced technologies to modify weather. The issue is that you make the rain to fall in one place, and the people on that place are very happy. And meanwhile, the water will not reach to other place, and they will suffer a drought. So you have to be considerate about your wishes.
Formulate one, Sanda, that is not so simple like I want to be happy. Something that...
No, I am happy. It's not I want to be happy. I am happy. That's the right statement.
Okay, make it a bit more complex. You want to see something, for example, and how you formulate it, how you can do it, and then what? How long do you have to wait for that to happen? Thank you very much. I think that a very simple example, but yet not so simple, that has the steps that are necessary would be very helpful for our practice at this stage.
You formulate, there is a little trick, you formulate your wish, and then you don't keep your attention on it anymore. You let it happen. That's the little trick.
Actually, I believe that may be one of my problems, because I go back there and repeat it. And then for how long do I have to forget it?
It's not about how long. You create the wish and let it happen. If you keep the same wish on and on, you see, there is there is a law of this universe that one thing can occupy a single space. A space can be occupied by a single thing in the same time. You put on your space your wish, and if you put it again in a double, then two cannot exist in the same place. So you can create something and you can uncreate it by doing the same thing. So that's why you do it once and let it happen, and you don't put your attention anymore in it. And later you will observe, wow, this happened. And you remember, yes, I wished that 2 weeks ago. It often happens in our lives.
Okay, would you formulate one, but not in the form of wish? But in the form
Look,
of...
it happened to me. It happened to me. You know, I living in Central Europe, and I like ginger. To use fresh ginger, not the dried ginger powder, which you buy as a spice, but a fresh, juicy ginger root. And it was so difficult to buy it a couple of years ago. I had to go to so-and-so shop, which was far from my house, and I had a wish. I'd wish to be able to buy ginger anywhere. It passed 2 years, and now I go to the next vegetable shop, and wow, it has ginger. I go to next supermarket, it has ginger. Everywhere I found ginger. Now I'm full of ginger. There's opportunity to buy it.
And in that case, could you show that it was the wish, or your soul had already seen the ginger and made you wish for it?
So I made a wish some years ago about that. And now I see it's happening. You see, I have a big head. The size of my head in centimeters is 62. 61 fits also. And it was difficult to buy a hat for my size. So I had a wish to get that, and now I go in many shops, and the traders change their habit, and now they keep these extra sizes as well. And also, the wish is your command, even though you wish something negative. So be careful with your wishes. You see, maybe it happened in life of others, something similar. I was a kid, maybe in the 3rd elementary class in the school, in the 3rd grade. And in the morning, I wasn't able to wake up in time to go to school. When I woke up, it was already 10 o'clock a.m. I had to be at the school by 7 o'clock. So I had a feeling of shame. So how could I go now? How could I go now to the school and to say, oh, sorry, I just fell asleep. So I need an excuse for that. I remembered when I had a fever or I got a cold. In those cases, I had a very good explanation for why I don't go to the school. So I had a wish to get a high temperature, and I've got it. By the afternoon, I had 38.5 centigrades, just to create an excuse. And it passed years and years and years. And of course, I didn't take responsibility for I created that sickness, that illness. I wanted to lie about it. So I said, I didn't do it, it just happened. And it passed many years, and I was about 25 years old. And one morning I was late going to the job. And suddenly I started coughing. It was very suspect. So then I realized that it just happened that with my wish, when I am late to get an excuse of being sick, so I created that, and that repeats and repeats and repeats. So if you study your own life and past, maybe you will observe how your wishes got accomplished, be them good wishes or bad wishes. We are the creator of our reality, don't forget that.
Then let's do something very simple. We had 2 wishes just there, but I had my name. Rick, if you could go to those right there. So Sandra, I'm asking you to now improve these two wishes using I can, because that's what we have learned recently.
To improve the formulation.
I mean, make it into an I can do that actually brings result, and the way we should do it. You tell us step by step.
I think you already worked that through in this particular paragraph here, Gatwa, because it was originally, I think, we wish to elevate the souls of all people and so on. And we took out the wish and just put in, we elevate the souls of all
people. It's great. Dr. Gato, you see, your wish already accomplished. It's already done. No need to change anything. It was already changed.
Okay.
So Dr. Gato wished not to have wishes, so it came true.
You got to be careful what you wish for.
I want somebody with very good knowledge of how to formulate these to take us step by step, even with a new one, using a good example that shows all the steps according to him or her, and then perhaps, not perhaps, we will definitely learn from it, which we should, because that's what we need to do. We need a lot of practice, because I remember Mr. Kesh saying last Thursday, this is going to be a lonely journey, because you have to do it your own. You have to do it yourself. So it may be lonely. I don't want it to take too long. So could we have a simple experienced input step by step? Then that will make our practice way easier. Thank you very much.
Well, we have one example here that's up now, which says, we peaceful beings wish to end any war developments by a few by elevating their souls and showering them with abundance of love and peace. And then underneath we have a different variation. We peaceful beings can end any war developments by a few through elevating their souls, etc. So it's
can and makes a difference. How about we peaceful beings? We end by our wish any wars or any war developments.
Okay, there's is that what you meant, Shandor? Was that second one down here? Is that equivalent? You take out the can, and it's just we end.
We
rather.
Peaceful beings, by our wish, we end any war developments, etc., etc.
So you're going to put the word wish back in?
It cannot harm if you use it as a subjunctive and not as a predicate. It's not a verb. It's a substantive.
I thought we were beyond wishes. We are in the can-do mode.
We end any war by our wish, or any war development by our wish. So it's good to simplify the sentences to be easier to read.
I think it's by our ability or our creativity or our can-do.
By the power granted you by the Creator?
You are the creator yourself, in this case.
Without naming who is the Creator. Just ideas. You can do it, I know. I'm not a native English, so my sentences may be slightly different than the sentences of a native English.
Yes, you know, Sandra, you said something earlier that you should not repeat these wishes. But my understanding was that the more you repeat it when you are making it, you strengthen the fields the wish, and then
there is an easier way. You made a wish, then you share the wish with others and let them agree and join your wish. So it will become the wish of more people. So it will become a common reality, a shared reality amongst many people.
Hello, this is Boniface. Good morning, everyone. Sando, I'm not sure I'm following you here. What Mr. Kesh said was no more wishing. And you keep referring back to wishing. I think.
No, I didn't use the wish as a verb. It's not the action.
It really doesn't matter. No more wishing. So why can't we just stick to the transition to the can do? And what I heard from Dr. Gatwa earlier was he's trying to, or he's practicing that.
Yeah, we can, and we make it accomplished.
Okay, so let's focus on that then, and remove the wish in any form, if we are going to practice this transition.
So we can. It's the tone, but you have to say it not just as a possibility, but as a new reality in present time.
Okay.
Statement. How would this statement look in that context? Boniface, what would you say? How would you say it should be?
Well, I wasn't thinking about that, but let me take a look at it and say, reach people any developments.
The original one was up here.
Where are we? Okay. We peaceful beings can end any war developments by a few through souls and that sounds good to me.
We can and we cause the end of any war developments.
Yeah,
how about we can and we cause, not necessarily by doing or making.
We can cause the end of any war development by a few. That works too.
We can and we cause it.
Okay.
If you can agree.
I can live with that.
So you're saying to put in, we peaceful beings can and cause the end?
We can
cause?
and we cause the end of any war developments. I think is what Sandra is saying.
But if we can, we don't need another word, cause.
Yeah, we can leave it as the way it is right now. Looks good.
Look, I can climb on a tree, but I don't mind to climb on the tree. So there is a difference between can and something which is accomplished. Can only the ability to accomplish it.
I agree with the English language when it comes to that, but according to Mr. Kesh's explanation, is that, and he dwelt on this for quite some time, he said that when you say, I can do, you mean that you have actually considered it. So it's according to that explanation, my understanding was that when you say, I can do ABC, it's stronger than I do. That was
if you think conceptually, means you think in concepts, it's fine. But when you put it in words, it should be not given any chance to be misunderstood. But when you put it in words, be sure not just to be understood, but to be not misunderstood in any way. So it's different when you formulate a concept, when you formulate an idea, and it's different when you put it in words in order to encode it and to transfer it through the words to others. You can transfer an intention directly without using any words, and you can receive that intention without any words. But if you use a medium like a letters written electronically or on paper or in whatever way or pronounced in words, then you have to be careful to be not misunderstood, to be only one way of interpretation and not several other ways of interpretation.
One way to do that would be whatever you write, you, with the writing, you project the intention as well. So that's in the field. So when somebody reads the statement, that's the physical part of conveying the information. Along with it, through the field comes the intention. So it can come together, although it's unstated. So this is a common practice in some of the mystical schools that they use this technique. Actually, this is actually the application of the field. So the physical part is only part of the solution, but the intention, as you were saying, is also part of the package. So the complete package is delivered when somebody reads the statement. Although it's unstated, the intention comes through the field, so it does not get misunderstood. The package is delivered in a complete form. Am I making myself clear or not?
Yes, but yeah, the things, the ways how we experience existence, it's by being, which has all our wishes and our plans included and our feelings, and it's by doing, which includes all the actions, and is the end result, what we have, what we perceive, it's our reality. So consider that too. On which aspect you are focusing.
That's important as well.
Yeah, you have intention, you have some execution of the intention on the process, the activity, and then you have the result. These are the three parts of the life experience.
So the result has a physical manifestation as well as a feedback in the field.
The result is something which beings, not just people, can perceive it.
Yes.
Can experience it. So you cause something, and then you experience something. Can it be done instantly? Yes, it can. Can it be done through time? By the time needed for the transition from one state of matter to other state of matter, to one field strength to another field strength? Yes, it can be. So your wish is at the strength of principal matter. Your emotions are at the strength of transitional matter. And the physicality, the manifestation, which you can perceive through the senses, through your sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and so on, that is the matter strength, field strength. So when
Hello?
you... No?
Hello?
Hello? Did somebody say no or hello?
Yeah, no, I
Hello.
say hello. It's
Go ahead.
from now I'm in Brazil. I'm not in California.
Go ahead, Estella.
Hello? Hi, I read we and any way. I think if we say
You're breaking up quite a bit.
are ending because they are open. I know, sorry. when you make the wish, basically, is you believe it's making the creation. The strong visualization and the emotion is your wish. So you like in the present, we are creating peace by being peaceful. It's that we are expanding our field. We are doing it. So that's what I just wanna say.
Can I add something? This is Boniface again. Uh, I think this is where we are heading, listening to Mr. Kesh, because he has. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Because he has made several references over the times about the individual referred to as the Christ and the level that he attained in terms of elevation. Now, this same individual said that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to the mountain, move, and it will move. So, in his elevated form, he had the confidence that that's something he could do, and that's something we can do as well. So,
Oh,
when I hear,
that's the
who's this?
Estela.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Everybody has yeah.
May I finish? So what I think I'm hearing him say in terms of transition from wishing to can is that at some point, you know, we should be able to say, I am doing this and that. I am doing A and B. And that's what happens because we will be at that level where we have that confidence and that belief that that's what's going to happen. Because think about it, when we're talking about the attributes of the soul, we read the soul is omnipotent, is omniscient, is omnipresent, and has all these attributes, which should signify that when we have that confidence, we can say to this mountain, move, without wishing or canning or whatever, and it moves. I think that's what we're headed. At least that's what I'm reading into it. I could be wrong, but I just thought I'd share that. Thank you very much.
It's not here. It's the same as the expression I am. I am an expression like a spark as a manifestation in this body of the energy of Christ. Everybody, and energy of the Christ, which is the elevation of the soul. We are.
Sorry, Estella, it's really hard to hear what you're saying because the words are so broken up. You need to get a better internet connection. You might be able to restart your connection and get a better connection. It's too difficult to hear you.
Bye.
Okay, I think we'll have to reconnect with Estella there. Okay, so I was going to mention that just with this statement, we can see the progression from the first statement where it's a wish to end any war developments. And then we move to we can end any war developments. And then the last statement was we end any war developments through elevating their souls and so on. So is that a definitive declaration that is that what we want to end up with, so to speak, is the without even having the can in there, there's no can, we end any war developments.
I think that's the trajectory.
Okay.
The can is the transition.
And there maybe not. Maybe we end at can, and I could be wrong.
Rick, you're an English speaker, so to you, what's the difference between the two?
Well, to me, if we leave out the peaceful beings part and just say we can end, for example, we can end any war. Let's just look at that as a phrase. We can end any war. And we had up above, we wish to end any war. Even when we say we can end any war, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we're going to do. It would still depend on if we wish to do that.
So the solution is we can and we cause the end, or we can and we accomplish whatever.
But the solution could also be the ending equivalent to or the higher grade, and my wish is my command. So is this and our ability is our command, or our what? That is the question. When we can, so is that our ability, is our command, or how do we make it into a command?
Well, the way I look at it is we just make it into a simple statement. We end any war. And we give the way of doing it through elevating their souls. So that describes the action, and it describes actually doing it, as opposed to wishing for it or saying that we have the ability to do it. This says we end any war developments. It's very, to me, it's quite exact. You can't get around that one. It's we end any war developments by elevating their souls, as opposed to we can end war developments by elevating their souls. If we decided to do that, maybe, perhaps. And I agree with Shandor that if we have can and cause, but then putting cause in there indicates direct cause and effect, and I don't know if it's it doesn't seem quite right to put in cause as if we're causing all these things to occur, but that at the same time we're definite that we're ending this. So I don't know.
Language part of it.
Pardon me? Say that again, Gato.
I agree with the English language part of it. We end any war developments through elevating our souls. That would be correct in terms of English. What I'm not sure of is it correct in terms of can do?
There is another way to look at it. Like if you look at the prior to expressions, like in case of wish, we end the war, our command is to end the war, but wish is our condition here. In the second expression, can is our condition. It's not unconditional, whereas the last one, Rick removed all the conditions. So this statement becomes unconditional. Unconditional in the sense that it removed the condition of we're wishing or we are desiring that it happens. And second one, we are putting the condition that we have the ability to do it. Here, there is no such conditions. It's unconditional. So it's a stronger statement in that sense. I'm not considering English so much as can and wishing are both conditions on ending the war. So that's another way of looking at it from the plasmatic point of view.
It could be
Yes, even through elevating our souls is the other condition. So to remove all conditions would be simply we end all wars. Then there is no condition.
That's a very good point.
So if you look at just that simple statement, that's a good way to look at it, perhaps. And we could say we wish to end all wars, we can end all wars, or we end all wars. And that's
exactly. And then
not questionable. We end all wars.
okay. What about one other iteration, which would be we are ending all wars?
When you say "are," it makes it like continuous. Eh? We are doing it now. We are doing it the next hour. We are doing it tomorrow. We are ending. It's a process, but we end this period. It's over.
Well, that's why I'm wondering. It should it be more of a process, but it's also immediate, like are ending. We are ending. That indicates we're doing it now and later, as opposed to we end all wars, which is, it's almost like we declare that from this point on, that's it. No more wars.
Here's something, I'm sorry. Here's something else to consider. Here's one reason I would leave this statement alone as you have it, Rick. We end any war developments by a few through elevating their souls, etc., etc. Because there's a way to end wars, which is we've seen happen before, unfortunately, where they drop an atomic bomb at some place and people stop fighting because they killed everybody. So that's not the way we want to end the wars. So we want to do it through elevation of souls, and I think that's as important as ending the war themselves. That's why I would leave this statement as it is. Just my thought.
There is another way to look at it in the sense that what Boniface is saying is actually a very good idea, because if somebody has elevated soul, then the statement we end the war is enough. But we are still not quite there, say we are not as evolved. So for those, the conduct is part of the specification, shall we say. So he's right in that sense, but for somebody who is evolved, a more concise statement is enough.
I have seen another weakness in such direct statements like we end all wars, for example, because we have learned that in giving, we receive. So if we just end, we are not giving, are we? Anybody?
Well, you mean like we're being sort of like gods of destruction by ending something? We're not transforming it instead? Is that what you mean? Or because we do qualify it with the elevating their souls part.
Yes, that's giving. I was just saying about the sentence that I had brought up earlier, that we end all wars. I'm showing that it has a weakness because in that case we have not given anything. We are giving unconditionally.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, right, right.
Yeah, because the more we give, the more we get. So if we just end wars, we have not given, or we have not stated that we are giving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
So,
we should include the giving part somehow.
well, we have that with the part at the end here, I guess, right? So,
Yes, 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 I agree.
okay. I wonder if we might be able to get some input from Caroline, who might have been listening in the background. I'm not sure if she's available at this point or not. Caroline, are you there?
Yes, Rick, but I have a problem. I might be getting disconnected. I'm on my way to a stable internet.
Okay.
So if you can put a pause on, because if I get disconnected, then I cannot do any recap of what I said and where I lost you.
Right. Okay, we'll
So if you
reconnect
bring
with you
the
shortly.
question back when I tell you I'm stable, then we can discuss it. No problem. I've been following from the background, but this wish has already been created. There is a complete wish in regard of war. If you go and scroll up, you will find it. There are a few different ones in regard with war. And I was wondering why there was a recap on war again.
Well, mostly we were just trying to work through this idea of we wish versus we can versus we do kind of thing. And we wanted to have a statement that we could look at to look at those different aspects. What does it sound like to sound them together?
Okay, when I'm stable, can you bring it back forward? Then we can
Okay.
open it up. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to say something, Ursula? Or was that previous?
Yes, Rick, with pleasure. I was hearing so much beautiful interventions from all of you. I'm very, very happy what is happening now, thriving all together. And I enjoy very much this ethos, diversity, from whom we are learning so much all together, wild world, worldwide. We wild world also. But I feel so much from you, all of you, with my Argentine ethos, Spanish, German, Italian, Austrian, and I feel all of you so much because we are working together, we are learning from each other, so beautiful, and I will soon share my contribution on the topics of 99, how you want to call them, gods or attributes or whatever you want. It's the same, because the teaching what I got 10 years, during 10 years, just before I come into Keshe Foundation. I was learning so much, and I will share it with you all. I'm preparing it. And my wish of peace are coming true, because with these wishes we are learning to feel and to wish. They are coming true for me in my life, with many healings, many peaceful connecting with my friends where I lived everywhere in Argentina and in the Alps from where I come from. I have been 1 week there. Very powerful, all what happens. I learned also, my wish is my command with another club, Jin, for 4 years. And when I hear this, and this foundation connects me to all this teaching also. I am present in many chat groups, Spanish. I'm council member Spanish, and I'm connecting so much with my fellow Latinos. Again, this was a wish, and it's coming true. And so many other things like Feel Good Now. I was hearing Sandor, so beautiful, with his ginger and love, many teaching he is doing. I love him very much in his Hungarian ethos. I know very well because my father-in-law was Austrian, so it's very close. And for me, I have sun in my house now, contacting with each other in the totality that we are learning all together. And it's a very peaceful feeling, and I'm so grateful to be in this foundation, learning so much from you and doing a very, very powerful work together, soul work. So thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ursula.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else who'd like to say something at this point?
If I can add something, please. There is in spectators, my friend, it's a very, very, very good French teacher, Jean-Jacques Darmon. And if you can put it in the conference years, he should maybe share something from there, from where we are learning from, as Chinese medicine, and for a French be so close with these teachings is very powerful for this ethos biodiversity. Maybe he will say something.
He mentioned in the chat that he would like to read the French version of the UC. Do you mean
yes?
The,
I think he's ready for do. I don't know. I didn't speak from this, but because I love very much his teaching in French, French teaching. I am enjoying very much all what French are doing now. So beautiful, and he gives much this teaching, a health teaching, and very beautiful. Really, he can do it also in English, I think, and I hope. It's my wish. But you have them in the participants, Zoom participants and spectators. His name is Jean-Jacques Darmon. You will find him, and maybe ask him if you want to say something.
Yes, I've allowed the microphone for you, Jean-Jacques, if you would like to say something.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Do you,
yes.
Do you
yes.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much to give me to be able to speak, and I am very happy to present you the text in the French, and so I am going to read the text in French, if you like.
I'm not sure if we're ready for that right now. I think that was supposed to be read in the Knowledge Seekers workshop, but can someone direct me on that? What's the situation
another day perhaps?
Yeah, I'm not clear. We can find out from Caroline when she comes in the next few minutes, and she can let us know if that's correct to go ahead with that.
Okay, I have made with Caroline. I have asked her to do that today or another day. Okay, so I wait for the answer of Caroline.
Okay. I heard from Mr. Kesh, he wanted it in the Knowledge Seekers workshop, I think. But I'm not clear on whether... Are we also reading Earth Council Constitution, or are we reading the Universal Council?
Okay, I understand. Okay. So...
but perhaps there's something else you'd like to say while you're here? Is there something?
Can you repeat, please? Not understand.
Is there something else you would like to say right now? Anything you'd like to discuss?
Yes. Okay. I am going to see with Carolina.
Okay, that's fine then. Thank you.
Thank you very much to give me the call. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyone else with something they'd like to say at this time? And if you're an attendee, you can put your hand up and then I can open your microphone so that you can speak. Okay, I'm wondering if we have any other of our wishes that we can convert.
I can talk about an application of this can-do attitude, perhaps. One of the things that is happening right now where I am, which is Bangladesh, and it's I have talked about this earlier, about this refugee crisis situation, and as it happens, you have heard from Mr. Kesh that the Vatican wants to get involved in the peace process, and strangely enough, the Pope has visited Myanmar, and now he's in Bangladesh. I think he's leaving today or left yesterday. But it's regarding that, he's meeting these refugees that are coming from Myanmar right now. And whatever his intended purpose may be, we can elevate his soul to bring peace here and elsewhere. And so everybody who is listening can join in doing so, which is a practical application of what we are talking about, what we were talking about earlier. And it's a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't know about his arrival, but when I heard that Pope is coming here, I wonder why. But I was wondering why, but in reality, we can make the decision for him. And the emphasis is we can.
So what would the statement look like for that? I can write it down here.
We can elevate Pope's soul to bring peace in this refugee situation and others he's involved in.
Do we want the Pope to bring the peace or ourselves? Mosfek.
We wish for him to participate in it in
So
his
that he's
own
not,
way. We elevate his soul so that he can participate with us.
yeah, right, yes, that has to be direct because you don't
If
want to give, you don't want to give all your power to the Pope, do you?
well, he doesn't get it anyway.
It's unconditional. The love is
Yeah.
unconditional, and he takes what he can get, and
Yeah, exactly.
I think he needs all he can get.
And he needs quite a bit.
Okay, that's good. Thought he was going to take everything again.
Well, that's the nature of giving, isn't it? Especially unconditionally. You have to just give, and they take, and you give, and you keep on giving, and that's hence the difficulty. If it was easy, there'd be a lot more people doing it.
Yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to point out that part.
Okay, so
Okay,
I mean, this
back
is.
to
Go ahead.
the what you were writing. So we can elevate the Pope's soul so that he participate in in solving the refugee situation and others situation. Okay, go ahead, right? And others he's involved in, something like that. I don't know. It's not the best in my opinion, but whether we should add the others or leave it at just that. Any thoughts?
Refugee
Anybody else?
crisis would be better. Refugee crisis or suffering is better than situation. Because situation can be anything. They could be very happy, for example, in spite of their refugee status.
We put in crisis, maybe?
Yeah, crisis is a good. I mean,
Crisis or suffering, whichever is preferable.
should we leave it at this or add the other part or not? Any suggestions?
What's the other part referring to? You mentioned that a few times, so I'm not clear on what you're referring to.
Mr. Kesh talked about Catholic Church taking the initiative to bring peace in Islamic and other worlds. And I'm talking about other efforts that the Pope is involved in. His elevation of his soul is for not only this purpose and others he's involved in, to bring peace to this planet. That's the rest of it. And to bring peace to this planet. That would be the last part of this. So whether we put the other part in there, that's what I'm asking others' suggestion.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be good to combine it somehow, so it's not splitting up the wish in a way.
Yes.
So, any suggestions? As you mentioned world peace.
The last part of this sentence is and other situations to bring world peace, and something like that. And let's write it. And other situation to bring. Let's write it, and then we can see whether it sounds good. And other situations, other conflicting or other conflicts. Let's put it other conflicts. Okay, other situations worldwide to bring peace to the planet.
You want conflicts instead, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's a bit better. Worldwide to bring peace to the planet. On this planet. So any improvements people want to do to this one?
Too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I'm
quite
wondering about
sound.
the word participate. So it's like we elevating his soul so he can participate in solving. Right.
That
so
may help.
Can we make it
Contributes to.
so he solves the refugee crisis?
Well, Gatwa is solving as well, so he can.
Instead of participates, can you say he contributes to?
That's a good point.
Okay, it doesn't make.
Because one can participate and
That makes
to
more sense. Yeah.
put the brakes.
Yeah, that's better.
So
Yes, that's much better.
Not sound very good.
So
he. It looks like there is a missing word there. The way it reads. So that he.
that you always catch
That
the
is very
that's.
important.
Thank you, Gachua, for your that's.
I think that word is very important. So that he participates in solving the refugee, there makes it particular. So solving refugee crisis and other global conflicts, and all other global conflicts. Then we don't have to. We don't need the last part, peace, to bring about the peace, because then if those conflicts are done with, then that is obvious. It means there is peace.
Like that?
In my opinion, yeah, solving the refugee crisis and all other global conflicts.
I like it.
All other, yeah, and all other global, and in all, or and all other conflicts globally.
All right. Well, that's pretty much. I think we pretty much nailed the Pope's soul to being busy for the next couple of years. With tagging on the all other conflicts globally, he's going to be plenty busy, but that's fine. That's what he should be doing, right?
Yeah.
That's what all the religious leaders should be doing now, is reaching out to all the other religions and trying to solve these crises. It's time for them to come together. It's long past the time.
Add them too.
Pardon me?
Maybe you should add them to the Pope's, why it says the Pope's soul, the Pope's and all other religious leaders' souls.
Well, then we're getting away from the original wish, because this was specific to the refugee crisis that was happening in Bangladesh, and the Pope was there and so on. So that's what kind of brought it into our attention. I don't know if we want to make it too all-inclusive, although why not work on another one? Why not just do the same thing and see what it looks like? And how did you say it, Gachwa?
We can do it for other religious leaders, all of them included, without naming the Pope, so that becomes a second wish. All religious leaders' souls, plural. Or all the souls of religious leaders. The refugee crisis makes it a particular one.
Like one of solving solving the global conflicts. I think that should do it.
Without the, so that it's all, not particular.
Sorry, say that again.
Solving or contribute to solving all global conflicts. All global conflicts is better than the global conflict. That's it. Perfect. It read very well now. Thank you very much, Rick.
Okay, that's a good one. So one is sort of more specific to the current situation in Bangladesh and Myanmar, and this is more evolving from that to a more inclusive but still specific to all souls of religious leaders as a dedication, as opposed to, you know, all souls everywhere, or just the souls of certain religions or something like that. So it becomes more inclusive and more universal in that way.
Exactly. Thank you.
Rick, I have a question for you. I know Justin Trudeau is in China. Do you know what's going on?
Well, I know that he they had an issue with even trying to take camera shots of him and the leader of China signing an agreement or just talking or something, and they blocked the cameras, the Canadian cameras, from taking pictures.
Yeah, there are some funny things going on there.
Yeah, there seemed to be a bit of friction, you might say. And our Prime Minister went there expecting to sign some sort of trade agreement, but the Chinese were not happy, it seemed. They took exception to the parts of the agreement that our Prime Minister wanted included, which included human rights and a couple of other things. There are three main items that were not just trade related that he wanted. The environment was another one, and something about jobs or the way people are treated in jobs or something like that. In any case, I don't think they wanted to sign an agreement with those things as part of the agreement. That seemed to me what was going on there. So, of course, everybody's still trying to keep smiling and behaving as if everything is okay, but it didn't seem like it was quite okay, especially with the Canadian cameras being blocked and whatnot. So, what did you get out of that?
I have heard rumors that, these are rumors, of course, that the Chinese feel that Justin Trudeau is a better leader than Trump, and they're trying to do something in North Korea with the help of Justin Trudeau.
Oh, that's another good point, actually. I did hear something about that Canada is actually sponsoring called a peace conference or some sort of, to try to have a resolution on the Korea crisis. And I believe that's supposed to be in the first part of the new year, sometime in January. Now, they're, considering it a peace conference, or at least getting all the parties together. But unfortunately, the party does not include the one party that it should include, which is North Korea, is not invited to that conference apparently, or is not there as far as I know. So it's more like they're deciding what to do about North Korea. But we'll see. Canada's heavily involved in peacekeeping now. They're trying to change the paradigm and trying to do things differently. But it's always in the execution. We never really know until things actually happen out in the world, and we'll see what goes on.
But I think in this respect, China and Canada are in agreement, although they may not reach a trade agreement, but this effort to bring peace, which is important for us as well. So this is kind of, to me, a striking element of this. And I'm sure that trade is only part of this effort.
Yes, indeed. And I know, China looks at Canada as a lever of sorts in the world, because Canada's got a fairly good reputation in terms of being at peace with most of the other countries of the world, and more so than the US perhaps. And so China sees Canada as a way to get in with the developed countries and increase their reputation around the world and that sort of thing. So definitely there's room for rubbing shoulders there, and China has a lot of force for peace right now. They seem to be trying to do the things that they're doing in the world in a peaceful manner, and wanting to lead in the world with that. They are expected to be the world leader in their economy in, I think, somewhere between 2 and 5 years from now. they will be the greatest economy on the planet, and that's, you know, they're a force to be reckoned with, and a force to be you know, to start to become in agreement. We all have to become in agreement for peace here, because there's no room for these big guys on the planet, and even the little guys, to be you know, coming up against each other as enemies, as, you know, things have in the past. There's too much force involved, especially when you start to introduce the new technologies, the plasma technology and so on. Then there's too much at stake for conflict. So I think China recognizes that, as do other countries, most of the other countries. Perhaps even the US, if all goes well, will recognize that that is the new paradigm on the planet.
And I have also heard rumors. I mean, again, these are rumors, and so that the Chinese submarines are very close to American ships, and they cannot detect them. And that sounds like our technology.
Yes, quite possibly.
Quite possibly.
They've been
Anyway.
working on making submarines
Yeah.
for quite some time. And by the way, North Korea has the second largest submarine force in the world, unknown to most people. They don't mention that in the news. I have never seen it mentioned in the news, actually.
But in any case, as long as they don't fight, I think doing the threat thing is okay, as long as it brings peace.
Yeah, it's quite often the case that, strangely enough, that you take, for example, the actions of Donald Trump as the fearless leader of USA. Sometimes the things that he says are so outlandish that it ends up getting the groups together, and they bond together. People that normally wouldn't be bonding together are bonding together just so they can oppose the thing that he's brought up that he would like to promote. And so in that way, sometimes especially on the world stage, sometimes the opposites end up creating positive actions. Maybe it'll take a threat of war to end all war. I don't know. It's a rapidly changing scenario. There's many initiatives now for peace, though.
Okay, Rick. Sorry to interrupt you.
Hi, Caroline.
Okay, start. I have half could follow, half I couldn't. Can you explain to me again what you wanted my opinion from, please?
Okay, we were back on. Let me bring that up again with.
Just one moment, Rick. Just one moment.
Okay.
Just one moment. I have to get back to you. I got interrupted.
Okay. Also, we have two people that had their hands up. Hassan, you had your hand up first. I'll promote you so you can speak. And Mario, allow you to speak as well. And Hassan, would you like to say something? You have to unmute your microphone.
Okay, Rick, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I have a very busy day for the moment. I try to be here in all peace, so I do apologize if you have to. I might be getting interrupted again, but it's because we are running few meetings at the same time, so I need to put my input in different places.
You are a multi-dimensional being.
Ah, Rick, sometimes I wish I don't.
Well, it goes with the territory.
Sometimes it's...
Okay.
Okay, shoot.
Okay, so what we're working on here is we're trying to use an example of this transition. We were talking about the transition of working from we wish to we can, and then taking it maybe to the and step beyond that.
No, you cannot use the word we can.
Right, so...
You are or you're not. Wishing is that you create your intent. You visualize it and then it can materialize. If you're going to go through a transition and you say, we can, that, no, you are or you're not.
Well,
it's
Mr.
black
Kesh,
or it's white.
Mr. Kesh brought this up, though, that we have to move away from wishing to, instead of we wish, to that we can. That we are able, yes. we can, not that we wish.
It's no. That's where you most probably have interpreted the wrong way.
We did figure out
we
that...
can.
Go ahead, sorry.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, you broke up. I couldn't understand.
Well,
that's maybe why I kept on talking.
Well, we did go on from can because we weren't totally satisfied with that. We can end all war developments. And we went on to just say we end any war developments without putting wishing or can. It's just we end any war developments by elevating their souls.
No. I think there is a wordplay here. In English, you can do a lot of wordplay with a lot of misconception. When Mr. Kesh uses the word we can, it means you do it, you're capable of doing it. You understand the difference? If you use in a context, we can fix the machine, we can go there, it's a possibility, which means it opens the door. If you have to change from a wish to a can, which means you can do, which means you do or you don't do. The can puts the doubt, but that is in a totally different context than when you walk away from a wish into a realization. The can that Mr. Kesh has used is you can realize it. You are realizing it. You're able to realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So there should be no doubt. And if you use the word can, that means we can go left or we can go right. That's a choice part. But
right.
If you need to use this in the context of moving somewhere, then you have to work in the confirmative state. I do, I am, I go, I will. That means I confirm the change. I'm going that path, not I can go that path.
Right.
It's a different wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
So when he has used this in that you have to go and change, and you can do it yourself, which means you can move away from the wish which means you are the wish. You are the change. It's not I can change. Does that make it more easier to understand?
So
I'd like to say something here. This is Gatwa.
Go ahead, Gatwa.
Yes, Dr. Gatwa.
Yes, you know, Mr. Kesh has said this at least twice during
Yes.
the speakers workshop.
Can you give me the exact sentence how he applied it?
He said that the wishes are no longer. I mean, those ones are out now. We should go to I can, and he said that by saying can, and he talked about English that in English that may sound like not correct, but it means it's very specific. He said it's very specific. It means you have considered it. So
no. When Mr. Kesh says you can, it means it's confirmed the way I explained it just to Rick. The context is very simple. Instead of creating the wish, you know how you have to understand when you work from the point of a wish is you go, it's the same, exactly the same as when you walk through the steps of making the gans. So you walk through the process of making the coating. You go through the process of making the gans for it to materialize, for you to see in a matter state that what you create is there right in front of you. And then you learned everything about the field strength, because it's not the water. It's the field strength which you have created in the water, which is doing the conversion or the reverse or the adding or the whatever. It's the field strength. When you work through wishing, the wishing, when you use the word wish, what does if you go as a child, what does a wish means to you? That you can wish whatever you desire for you to have. So let's say the tooth fairy, when you say to the child, you lost your first tooth, now you can make a wish and the fairy will come and put a coin underneath your pillow and your wish will come true. So usually the child expresses his wish. I would like to have, let's say, a doll or a game or a toy, whatever. Because the parent can listen to the wish, or the child has spoken about the wish, the parent can bring that wish in the matter state like a doll to the child. So wishing, from when we are a child, we know how a wish works, because if you wish so badly, you're going to get it. So that was the first initial state for people to learn how to wish. And we struggled a lot through it, because a wish has to have certain components in it for it to be able to materialize. Now, if you go back and you analyze the path of the wishes, it has to have the confirmation. First, the topic. What are you wishing for? The target. Number two, it has to be already been done as you have received it or created in the state as you wish, because otherwise the wish keeps on hanging. It can't materialize because it doesn't have sufficient enough field strength. So then you go to, for what purpose will it serve? Because I explained before, if you wish only for yourself and only for your benefit, your wish will not materialize, because it is starving from field strength for it to attach itself, which I explained, to the 2-to-1. You create a dynamic field that it can start. Energy needs to move for it to be able to work. So you have to add the giving to it. If you don't add the giving to it, then it can't serve its purpose. So because it leaves from me to, let's say, to serve you, then it makes the connection of the field strength that it has a target, it has the dynamic to go. And because I'm feeding it, it gets the extra energy. So it starts moving. That's why I said in the last week, I think, I don't remember. You remember when I said, I asked Mr. Kesh, we have heard so many cries worldwide, so many souls have been wishing and asking for help and begging and crying. It is suffering. I said, why could they never make the change? Because wishes have been there for centuries, but they don't materialize. He says that is very simple. Because the moment you created the wish, or they have created the wish, they always have wished for themselves. I want to be out of this. Please, God, help me to get out of this. You understand? So it didn't have the dynamic energy to even start creating, to link up to the extra energy for it to move, to function. So you get a static energy, one soul, one wish, which stays within. So it could never gather the wish could never gather the strength because it couldn't accumulate for it to serve. When it's only serving you, that's why Mr. Kesh said, if you start wishing only for yourself from your own point, it will go nowhere. That's why I brought back, you all remember when he said, when he started teaching the Maghraf systems, he said, you make your first Maghraf system and you give it away. Then you make your Maghraf system and you install it. The whole beauty which was in there, which not many people understood, was when you give it, it is an energy, it's a soul, and you have given it for the purpose to serve somebody else. So whatever you build, create, then you can receive back because you already given so much for the extra, whatever you call it, field strength, will serve back because you create another one, which will link up with the first one, which was there in the first place to serve. So if you have to walk away from the wish point of strength using the word wish, you simply have to change the wish into I am. I am that change. Because let's say tomorrow you want to change, you know, you have a target. Let's say we have world peace in front of us. Now, as long as you gonna target something somewhere which has to do with war, you're only gonna take 1 point out of it. Your field strength comes not from that you have the thing, the beautiful creation of the wish, but if you don't visualize, I end the war, that's the difference. When you wish, you still have to go for more. But if you decide as one to end, I end the war, and you see that there is no war in your visualization, then your field strength is much stronger because automatically you reached all the ones which are in problem because of war. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, I believe so, and we sort of came to that in a way with the statement that you see on the bottom here. We peaceful beings end any war developments by a few through elevating their souls. So that's...
No. You can't. You don't need to end any wars.
Can I add something here, Caroline?
It even has to be more correct, more precise.
Can I add something here, if I can? This is Mario.
Yes.
Okay, from my understanding, our souls are in balance with the universal community. So our souls are in peace, and in the universal community is in peace. So and our souls are, my understanding of the Bahula's teaching in the hidden words, and Mr. Kesh opening that is, our souls are the omnipotent God that created us. So our souls are omnipotent, can do anything. So the only reason an omnipotent being would manifest itself in what we call the physicality level, where there's this level of abuse that we live in, is because we're allowing it. It's the only possible explanation I can understand. We're allowing it. I think that's totally consistent with what Mr. Kesh has taught. We allow the abuse because our souls are in peace, in balance, and we're manifesting ourselves in a condition where there's abuse of us, abuse of others, and so on. So if we elevate our own souls and we collectively can connect with sympathetic vibrations to raise our own souls and the abuse, then there is no wars. It's only a perception in the manifestation that we've been deceived, or are we deceiving ourselves into? I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, all of these praying for the others. We want the Pope to, elevate his soul to end the wars. But we don't need that. We can look inwards. We can go gravitationally, elevate our own souls. Together, we stop the abuse. There's no need for it. Okay, I'm going to mute my mic now. Thank you for listening to that.
May I ask who brought this? We peaceful beings end any war developments by few through elevating their souls and showering them with abundance of love and peace. Who has brought this forward, please? Or why did this start getting created? Because that point I missed.
It was originally it was the top two here. We had worked on that at one point. I'm not sure. Gatua, was that yours originally? Or does anybody remember who came up with that?
It was the UC. It was the UC. In fact, Carolyn was there.
Okay.
But I do not know why did this come up, because we have brought 4 wishes forward last time. If you go to those 4,
Was it on the public wish document, you mean?
we brought it to you. We copied the 4 wishes and we brought them here to be added to our work.
Oh, I think it might have been.
No. They're at the bottom. They're the last 4 from last week.
Yeah.
So the topic opened up that we have to walk away from we wish to can. We can. That's the whole topic, yeah?
Yes.
The interaction of the discussion. So the we can is that each individual is powerful enough to make the change. But it is to go and confirm you are already in that state. Wishes are only working when you confirm the reality that is already been given to you. It's already there. And you add from your soul by your intent or or with your emotion to give that field strength of the change. We can was used to inform all of you that you're capable. Can is different than you're capable. the meaning of this "you can" means you're capable of doing it all by yourself. You don't need to come together to make a wish. But if, let's say, how does Mr. Kesh, Rick, do you remember Mr. Kesh's last wish? Does any one of you remember Mr. Kesh's last wish?
In a recent Knowledge Seekers workshop, you mean, or?
Yep. And Tuesday and Thursday, I think it was. It came forward. He wished something for Iran and the Arabic world. I think that was the topic of the wish. How does he always compose his wish? Dr. Katwa, you have a very good memory. Do you remember Mr. Kesh's wish? And it was at the beginning of Thursday morning.
Well, the wish is has to do with stopping the war between the brewing war between Iran and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but can you repeat the wish, the way he put the wish, how he used the words in what sentence?
And not immediately. Not. I would have to listen
Okay,
again.
I will bring one wish which is all familiar to you. He says, "I wish to end all kingship. My wish is my command." Correct?
Yes.
Yes, but after that he said no more wishes.
I wish means, and then you all add your, because that was to show, to give you the, when he wishes something, or he has put it in this very short, simple sentence, "I wish all kingships to end," everyone automatically was adding to his wish, his creation. He created that intent. He says, "I wish to end all kingship. My wish is my command." If you analyze it, it's very specific, very on the dot. Now, if every single knowledge seeker says, "I wish to end all wars, my wish is my command," it means you can, you're able, you don't need to come and write it down. And if you post the wish out through your intent, the field strength gets picked up by the other souls which are going in the same direction. When you come and bring it here, "I wish to end all wars," here in this writing, you will simplify the sentence. It will be very well understood. There is no doubt about anything. And then whoever says, "I wish to end all wars, my wish is my command," the minute you say, "I am present," you start adding to my creation, because I confirmed it's finished.
So, Caroline, are you saying we should, instead of saying "we," as this statement as an example, say, instead of saying
Yes.
"we peaceful beings," we just say "I wish to end"?
I wish to end all wars. One who starts the wish, "I end all wars here and now. My wish is my command." And it starts receiving the field strength. That's it. That's done. It means he tried to point out, Mr. Kesh tried to point out at each single knowledge seeker, each single visitor, each council member, that you are because you're the creator of your wish, you're the creator of your reality. You confirm, I am, I wish, it's done, finished. No hesitation, it's done. It just takes the field strength from how many other souls are going into that path. Because everyone knows when I say I end my wish, I wish I end all the wars, it means so many people are going to receive peace. They're going to receive tranquility. They're going to receive the capability of start having time for one another, finding jobs, reconstructing their houses, go back working in their gardens. The wounds are going to be able to heal. The friendship can start emerging, and they can start coming up like a flower again, because that's when what you create when you finish a war, people start gasping for air. Their whole world changes. They come at ease. No more noise, no more fright, no more fear, no more hiding, no more running. And everyone knows when you end the war here and now, that's you can start having fresh flowers, fresh green, the houses, everything gets reconstructed. The whole environment of people who are in war can be and will get reconstructed because you end it. It's just a matter. The difference between, do we need to make this wish altogether for it to work? Or did Mr. Kesh say you can do it yourself? Meaning, the minute you use, I finish the wars, I wish for it to finish, it means your word is your command. That's the field strength. You got to understand that you carry this power. There is no doubts. You cannot misread. You cannot misdo, because you're the realization of the confirmation of the reality that there are no more. Because you know, when you keep on feeding to negative, you create more negative. But when you stop it, in the benefit of so many, because that's your intent, otherwise why would you even create this wish, or would you create this statement? What is the purpose of the statement? For that suffering to stop, to create peace for so many. So this is automatically with the intent of creating this I end the wars now. That's the field strength, because every single other soul, from the point you create that you are, I wish, that means I will collect it from you, I will collect it from any soul on this planet which has been, but because there is one who's wishing that it's already done in the benefit of all, you accumulate all the fields, it grows in field strength, and then it manifests itself. But you are no short than me to create that same path of working. That's what Mr. Kesh has given you. I can, I am. The whole path of this combining, putting these wishes forward, was for you to realize what ingredients need to be in the wish for them to be able to materialize. Your intent, your direction, and the purpose. And you are the creator, so your command is your wish. So it means we do not need to wait till we come on Tuesdays or on Thursdays or in the classes with the teachers to create a wish for it to be accumulated. I am present for your wish to materialize. That's what Mr. Kesh was indicating. Each one of you can wish 100 times every day when you're focused. Sorry, I got kicked out. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you lose me?
We didn't. We heard you right up till last second there, last few seconds.
That went fast. You understand? It means he has given you the confidence. You don't need to hesitate. You are as equal. We are all equal. We all have the same capacity. We all have the same beauty. We have a slightly different field strength, but when we are all realizing that we're all equal in the soul strength, it's just our physical soul which needs to get, growing in understanding through knowledge for what we are working together, what we're sharing together. But you got to, what Mr. Kesh was bringing to you was the gift. Your soul is already perfect. So rely on your soul strength for it to materialize by your intent and what you create. Because we are all equal and we are only going to accumulating the same field strength because we are working in the same direction. That's where the tipping point comes when it goes faster. And the reality of that is you already have received the confirmation is Togo, Niger, and so many other places. And the shifts, global, have started. Mr. Kesh was trying to push you, you are. Any more questions? That's why he wants to start walking away from creating the wishes. But to be individuals, strong enough, knowing, realizing you got equality and strength within you to do all by yourself. You don't need nobody to take you by the hand to make the change. You are the change. Any questions or any sharing?
Hello, this is Boniface. Thank you, Caroline, for what you're sharing. And I have been practicing the wishing ever since I learned it here, and so I can appreciate it. What I recall from Mr. Cash last week, though, was specifically no more wishing. In fact, I think it was Mosfik who came on to share something, and he started saying, I wish, and he said, no more wishing. So however we choose to express whatever it is that we desire, from Mr. Cash's comments, you don't state a wish. And so that was the premise that we began the discussion today. How do we go from saying, I wish this or that, to the I can, which is what Mr. Cash mentioned? And if it's not the word can, how do we start practicing this thing? So my suggestion is perhaps you may want to touch base with, Mr. Cash to sort of clarify, what he meant with that, because what you're saying does not seem to be backing up what I recall him saying last week. That's just my thought.
How do you recall it? Because maybe then we will find a path out of it.
Yeah, what I recall was three words: no more wishing, no more wishing. He said it more than once. And so maybe we could probably play the back of the tape from last week to get his clarification, because I'm not the smartest thing in the in the world, but I think I heard what he was saying. And I could be mistaken, but we could all be enlightened by just going back and listening to what he said. Because I think he was clear about transitioning from the way we've been speaking and trying to materialize our desires up to last week.
The difference is when you wish, yeah, if you have to create a wish, it means you're not there yet. You are not yet. When he says you can, which means you are. If this is what you can't accept as what he tried to explain, the hesitation sits with a lot of people that if you are, do you still need to wish?
I guess that question is, how do we express that? How do we express that thing which is what we desire? If
you are peaceful, then you're not violent. You're not at war. By being in the state of peace, that means you don't need to wish for it. How to express this is by analyzing who you are, what you are, and your true intent. Everybody, I hope, understands what is intent. Let's say you stand outside your house, or you're coming from work and it's been very stressful. I just try to give you an example. Yeah, you're full of stress. You had a big fight with your boss. You had difficulties with the other people working around you. Something was not going right at work. Now, you park your car and you still have that part of stress with you. Now, I have a very beautiful story because it was written down. I think I brought it once in the teachings, but no matter what, I will repeat it. He says, and it was a child who was telling the story. He says, my father always had his lunch bag, and he had an extra bag with him. And we had a small tree in front of our house. And he was always hanging one bag in the tree, and he brought his lunch back in the house. And the boy asked his father, why do you do this? Why do you always hang one bag in the tree and you come in with one bag in the house, which is your lunch bag? He says, my boy, he says, if I bring that bag, which I hang in the tree, which contains all my worries, all my suffering from my work, all my stress into the house, then I'm going to have a very unpleasant time with my family, with my children, because I bring that, what is in that bag, I refuse to bring it in the house because I want to come home in a peaceful home. So I don't bring the stress and the whatever sits in that bag, hangs on the tree, it can stay outside my house. And the next morning, because that was his ritual, he took a new lunch bag with him and he picked up the bag from the tree, which contains everything he needs to go back to his job. So that's how you are. What you can. Can means you decide. That decision is to hang your stress, your fear, your anger, your frustration in a bag on a tree outside, that it doesn't cross the border of your privacy when you come among your family, that they don't need to suffer and receive all the bolts and the lightning from what you still carried from your work. So he left them outside. So that is a decision of, I can leave it outside, but I decide. So you decide, and that's your decision. And that was the meaning. If you understand it now, when Mr. Kesh say, you don't need to wish for it, you can, because you're able to make that decision for yourself. You don't need somebody else. Did that make it a little bit more easier to understand?
So how does that apply to our statement here? Do we still use the word wish? If Mr. Kesh says we are not to use wish anymore, but yet we have wish in our statement, is there a way to say this without wishing and have it be instead? Can we leave the wish out and just say I end any war developments?
If we are about to reconstruct this, not through the wish, then how do we need to put it down? All wars are ended. It makes it very limited through our use of language.
Yeah, we want to invite others to partake in that action in a way. And if we just say all wars are ended, that means
it should already start with, I wish no war.
Okay, can I add something here again? It's Mario again. My wish is my command is a paraphrase or a slight alteration of the standard phrase that you give to a king. Your wish is my command. So Mr. Kesh is ending the kings. There is no king. You are the king of your own self. So your wish is your command. It's a reversal. It's an inversion of the way we've been living. So again, and very interesting, Caroline keeps talking about replacing I am. I am is, there's a few different Hebrew words for the God, the creator in the Hebrew Bible. But one of the most, I think the most prevalent one is I am. The name of God is I am. So it's very interesting. Caroline is using that term there. I am the creator. My wish is my command. So instead of I wish, a king gives a command, and his servants, his wish is their command. So it gets done. Now reverse that. Your wish is your command. You're the king. You're the creator. You are I am. So you command.
Yes, because when you say I wish, you still give your power away.
Yeah, we're still looking at the
wait
inverse.
a minute, but what about Mr. Kesh's statement of I wish to end all kingship?
Because
shouldn't he be saying I end all kingship instead then?
Well, he understands the relationship. He's the king of his own reality.
Yes,
his reality is spreading to us. His wish is his command. So you could say his command is to end all kingship. And as long as it links with one of us, it will happen.
It creates bigger.
Right. You get a baby.
Right. Well, I think that's
But
the advantage
if
of the word wish.
what he was trying to explain is you got to reposition yourself that you are. And this is where people struggling, and these are the questions they ask. But how can I work with this? Because they never been explained that you are. And to a lot of people, this is unbelievable. How can you be everything when you're always being taught that you have to give? But the difference is when you are the giver. It's the part of the hesitation that needs to disappear when you give a command. It has to be in the purity that you know you are. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Then you need to get the other fields to accumulate. The only difference sits that you're not obnoxiously beyond your whatever imagination when you state, I am. That still means you make the difference for all, because it still is in the position of your intent, your intentions. For what are you? To bring the beauty and the tranquility up in others, to give them peace. You know, it's very simple when you go step. I am. Yes, okay, I am. Now, if I am, and I position myself with my intent, let's say this topic is end wars. The intent, when I express I end all wars, automatically I give you the explanation, what is it creating in benefit of so many which are, let's say, in war zones. When I end that war, what do these people all receive? I don't wish I end my war. I end all wars. All who are included, all the souls, let's say there are 1 million souls in a war zone, I end that war because I am the creator. I have the power. I am the power. And this is the intent which is linked with it. Why do I wish to end a war? Why do I confirm it doesn't exist? Because I know from all you know, it's not only me, that when, let's say, you go to Palestine and you just shot all the guns down, you drop all the bullets from the air onto the ground, you stop them even getting fired, you stop them getting delivered. Just say we create silence in Palestine. The children will not hear the whistling of the bullets. They will not hear the explosions. They will not be scared from the noise of the airplanes which are passing. You know, that whistling before it's going to hit the floor. And then the screaming and the shouting from the people which are injured. So when I create silence, let's say just in Palestine, people will say, wow, this is quiet. You release the fear, you release the anxiety, you give them that they can regain their energy to think, to function, to be who they, as everyone else, you and me, can be peaceful. So when you do this wish, the intent with it is that it is to the benefit of so many which are in that kind of position. And that's why Mr. Gish is trying to teach all of us. You are, now it's to take your responsibility that you are, I am. If you confirm I am, then there is nothing in your way for it to be done.
May I suggest something?
Sure.
I think it will be very helpful if because I think Caroline started to do this and then she got interrupted. But there's a wish on the screen. And in light of her explanation and what Mr. Cash said, how would you reconstruct this wish to reflect what you explained without stating wish in there?
If this was my wish, I wish can stand, yeah, but because I end all wars. And what do you create with ending the war? That the souls automatically get showered with peace. But in so many ways, we don't even need to write this down, because I end all war. My wish is my command. That was not the intent of Mr. Kesh. The intent of Mr. Kesh was, you can create this yourself and you're perfect in your creating of your wish. The only thing is, you got the state that you are. That's the self-confidence that you should have already received from all the teachings. When I say to a child, you can do, what does that mean? So in the same context, when Mr. Kesh uses you can, you don't need to use the word wishing. You don't need to wish, wish, wish. When I say to a child, you can lift this pot, I don't wish it. I make the statement, you can. When Mr. Kesh uses the statement, you can, which means the child realizes, yes, I can, or you say, I can't. What is the difference with the child confirming you can and the child saying, I can't? This is the hesitation of a lot of knowledge seekers. And this is what Mr. Kesh was trying to explain through a lot of teachings. You are responsible for your thoughts, your action, your deeds. Keep them clean, keep your intent clean. This is the same with the wishing. This is the same with whatever you create. If you leave the word wish out, who are you? What are you? I am a peaceful person. I am a creator. I don't need to act, I can. But he had to use this in this context, not to use the wishing part anymore, but to confirm each one of you where you are at this given moment, that you can. And is this where the hesitation point sits? Is this the struggling block? By simply be able to say, I am, I can, I will. Because with this expression, you create the responsibility of what you are in every meaning.
Okay, can I add something else here again? You had mentioned about the words and the wordplay. Communication on the universal level is on the emotional level. It's an exchange of ideas, no lying. You cannot hide or you cannot lie, and you cannot deceive, and you cannot twist words. Words don't exist. It's idea exchanges. But we are living in the land of Babylon, not the America's Babylon and the Pope is Babylon or this. No, no. Babylon is our words that deceive us. And that's kind of the point of what's happening here. My wish is my command. So, you know, we get this idea of what wishes are, and then we get all twisted. You know, yeah, a wish is not a confirmation. My command is a confirmation. I am is a confirmation. What, you know, but the words, we have to be careful about that. They're really expressing ideas. We need to really get past the words. Think about the actual emotional ideas, because it's a trap. It can be a very big trap, the words.
I go very simple, and it has been said by Mr. Kesh, and it has been followed by a lot of knowledge seekers. Mr. Kesh says, I wish, I give from my soul, and then he creates where the field strength is going to go through. We are wishing, let's say, that there is peace in Iran. So you give from your soul, which means you open the channel of your intent. When you add the words, the phrases, I give from my soul, it departs from you. And then, because it's you, without writing it down, without speaking it out, but you create the intent for the wish, let's say, to target Iran. I wish, I give from my soul to Iran to stay peaceful. My wish is my command. That puts Iran in a bubble of my creation, of my peaceful wishing.
Can I come in?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I am listening.
Jalal?
Yes.
Please say your name.
My name is Jalal. Originally, I am from Iraq. And I am knowledge seekers. And I would like to say something. I did hear you all. And all of you is right. Nobody is wrong. But if I want to put it, all the 2 words in one sentence, I will say so. I can stop the war between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and I wish it to be in the benefit of all. Because sometimes if you wish something and it is not mean for this person, it will not come. So from your soul, you give it. And it's up to the receiver if he want it or not. So I think this is a good part that you can. And as Mario said, you are right. If you can, that you are capable. If you wish that is not you, that you are not yet capable. But we are capable of doing everything if we take responsibility of what we wish. That means what we capable of doing. And this is the key to open really the doors of the universe, because the universe there, they need one person who is capable to take responsibility of what he is doing. What he is doing, that means what he is wishing, because it's the same thing. One word. It's one word. So be responsibility for what you are capable to do. And we all capable to do so many things because we are part of the creator. And if there is one creator, he is waiting for us. If there is 1 million creators, they are waiting for us to open these doors because we will take real responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Jalal. I see Theodore had his hand up.
Yeah, this is Theodore. I was wanting to add to our conversation and saying that with the wording about how I am and I can and I wish, I was thinking in my head that in my mind, the wishes that we've been making over these past 2 years together, it is, and I'm witnessing it real time. All my wishes are coming true. And even ones that I made a couple years ago that I had forgotten about have started to come true. And it's really kind of, to me, a little mysterious and even slightly shocking that some of these wishes that I had made a while back that I had forgotten about have now began to manifest themselves. And I was really feeling overwhelmed the other week, really overwhelmed with all the people that I'm speaking to all the time when it comes to whether it's relief work or the work I'm doing here or the work I'm doing in the energy and things like that. And sometimes it gets to be kind of daunting. I've like taken people under my wing, and that's my responsibility now to do that. And so whenever I was kind of contemplating, all the stress, then I really took a step back and looked around, and I was like, these are all my wishes, and they have started to all manifest themselves simultaneously. And so I've, being grateful and appreciative of that now instead of stressing out about all these things at once. And so
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
What have you changed?
I feel like I really have changed my conscious thoughts. I feel like I really am ultra cognitive about where my thoughts are leading. And I'm still human too. I'm still in this situation, and I still have times where I find myself getting short or stressed out, and I'm minimizing that to a bare minimum. And I feel like it has made me even more susceptible to people that have a little bit more of the chattering, wandering mind. And I know that I'm not really supposed to feel stressed about it, but I'm here to help. And so I've really taken it upon myself to love everybody I see and also understand that like I can help everybody around me. Even if they're more elevated in other ways, I can still help them with their mission and plan. And I feel like so I have made an attempt to definitely change and give more. And other than that, like I haven't changed a whole lot. I don't feel like I have made some verbal wishes. Like I have said like, to the universe and to the energy and to the root and to the creator and to that force that like that feeds the magrav technology, I have offered my service like aloud.
Oh, you have made a big change, and you just spoke it out and you didn't stand still. And this is the beauty. People never take credit for their change because we have not been taught to be on top of ourselves. And people always say what has brought the change. But I allowed you to come forward with it. What did you say? I pay more attention. I have started giving. If you're a knowledge seeker, you are already in that path of the change. You already have added to so many people that those tiny little particles of giving, that's the field strength. So I don't know how many months you've been changing, because my question was, what have you changed? What has changed? And it just came out of your mouth as it's nothing. But that's where the difference is. That's where the beauty sits. Before that change, you made a lot of wishes. Those wishes were in your department for you, not so much to benefit so many others. So your change, your pivot point of change has come when you start using the words which you said. I'm just recapping you. I start paying attention to give. I'm here, and at the same time, you bring down of your strength of energy.
How so?
I think her connection just temporarily
Yeah,
failed.
I'm back.
Hello? Yeah.
Where did you lose me?
You were starting to talk about something about losing strength.
Yes, you start losing strength in the sentence of I might not be so talkative, or I might not be at this kind of level. Doesn't matter what. You don't need to. This is where you lower your energy when you think your capacity or your capability is not there. That's the field strength of your thoughts and your intent. If you continuously keep your pivot point, I am, in my strength field, then it doesn't matter if you're higher or lower in your perception towards the social structure of our society, which is teaching you you're higher or lower. While Mr. Kesh is bringing forward, no, you're not. You are equal. It's your intent which brings you to that higher level, not who you are in the social structure of your society. Your wishes have start coming forward because you have brought that change. You have started making the change by giving. So whatever you wished in the past now gets accumulated. Let's say it's shooting forward and it starts materializing every time you, by intent, I support you. I'll give you some of my energy. I'll see where I can help you. I see where I can support you. Every time you add that little bit of your field strength to that other, whatever it is increasing your field strength for it to materialize whatever you have created in the past. That's why your wishes are coming forward now, and they are revealing themselves, because now they can serve the purpose for whatever you created them before. Now they have received sufficient enough field strength, because whoever was aware that you were supportive or supporting or helping, they have said thank you in one or another way, or they have expressed their gratitude. That gratitude is a field strength which gets added to your field strength. So now your true who you are is revealing itself more and more because you are expanding your field strength. Did you understand?
Yeah, I truly feel like I understand. And whenever to be completely real with you, like I feel like I know in my heart like I can fly. I know in my heart like I am the Messiah. I know these things, but in my mind, the man, like I feel like it's out of compassion that we put ourselves down, like because we in a way don't want to elevate ourselves above other people, and you have to almost walk on eggshells with people because of their own like victim mentality in a way. And I don't mean to use that as a crutch for myself, but it makes it difficult to use the language the way it's supposed to, because people kind of take offense to it, and it's so
What
incorrect to raise yourself up
what
to
what
the
if
go
you
ahead.
change? What if you change what you just been using? What if you change, I'm free of all this? You don't go above. You don't become obnoxious. You do not irritate nobody. You do not insult anyone. What if you just use the word I am free? Does that mean you're above? Nope.
Like that.
I'm
I mean, is that what we're supposed to kind of be learning whenever we put the copper in the water and we free it from how we took it from the earth and made it pure? I mean, is that what we're kind of looking at here? We're becoming free.
Exactly, because when you're free, you don't have the attachments of the imprints which bring your energy down. So you don't need to use anymore the imprints from whatever is surrounding you that you're going to insult. Say, I'm free. I'm free. That doesn't insult nobody, does it?
No.
And it gives you a boost. Oh my God. I don't need to work with these names and these phrases and these labels. They disappeared. I have no more labels. I am who I am. I'm free.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
It's your spirit.
I love it.
It's your spirit. It's you, I am, who sets itself free from all this clutter. And you don't hurt nobody. You don't insult nobody. The beauty is saying, I am a free spirit. I'm free.
When it comes to I am and like I am ready to do it, like how do you do it without making it the magic show? Like how does I am happen? Like how does like the total illumination and the true like levitation of the body and the mind and the spirit happen without the magic show? Because like I'm ready to understand that.
You got to learn. You got to learn you're an energy field, yeah? That you have all known through the knowledge, yeah? You are an energy field. So your body is a leech to your soul. So your physicality has its own energy source. When you die, it gets accumulated to your soul, yeah? It doesn't go lost. Whatever is there to serve, which it goes down in the earth, will serve whatever it goes to, which is the totality. So each body has already been, let's say, recycled to so many other things in the creation. So nothing gets lost. Everything goes back to where it came from, to the source of where it came from. So nothing gets lost. Everything gets reabsorbed. So that's why what you create, let's say you go into, let's say just the word something wrong, it has to collapse on itself because it hasn't served no purpose for serving for the beauty of the creation, because the creation never creates anything which is wrong, put it this way. So if you create the other part, which is beauty, to give, to serve, it will multiply because it finds more energy to expand. Now, if your body is an energy field, and by gathering knowledge and understanding I am, and I'm free of the clutter which has been attached to me, you expand your field strength for you to be able to go closer to your source, where it all came from, for then to be able to connect faster, because you make the path free of debris. The reason why it is so difficult for so many people is that there is so much clutter, there's so much debris, there's so much thinking, social structure, which is habitual being there. Now, if you erase time, you erase all the words in your vocabulary which are not positive. If you erase any myths, any magical, any, just you go down to the bottom of just pure beauty, happiness, smile on your face. You change the whole energy level of your matter state because you give it the field strength. Because I'm emptying my pot of all the debris. I'm taking all the rubbish out of my pot. So with what is it? Or are you going to fill it up automatically? When you're conscious with what you do, I'm free, it means you have freed yourself from all the clutter. But you're working purely to go and find all the beauty, the smile, the giving, to see a smile appearing on somebody else's face, to help somebody, to support somebody, and you know it has departed from you. It means you free yourself to receive more so that you can go in that higher strength. Then that is the point where you can connect easier, much faster to the source, which is the pure, which has the totality. It's the debris and the myths and the structure which we are all holding on to, and the matter state and the materialistic state, which are putting that wall between your true source, who you are in reality, and then everything which is outside that wall, which is all the debris. So when you clean that up, what do? You fill up your cup more and more with pleasure, beauty. You increase your strength. So you will meet other people. You will meet another environment. You go higher in strength. So your physicality changes totally. You become more peaceful. And the more you put your attention to it, you go to a higher strength. And you start receiving gifts. You have start receiving gifts. You say, all my wishes from the past are start appearing in front of me. That's not the magic, is it? Because you remember you made those wishes. Not, I didn't make your wishes. You created them. Because you have confirmed, I said, what has changed? What have you changed? You said, I start being aware and I have conducted myself to do this, to give. If we just stay with this expression of understanding. So by doing that, you have received, knowing, unknowing, the thank you, which is that little bit of energy that has come back to you to add to your field strength. So you have gone to a higher field strength. I wish I could visualize, show it to you. And it's very simple. If you can understand this, and I have to explain it in a very awkward way. Let's say you have a body of 60 kilos, but you're supposed to weigh only 40 kilos. That's 20 kilo difference. Now, for you to understand what you carry, I will give you 20 times 1 kilo of sugar, and I will attach them to your body that you have to carry it for you to understand that you carry that 20 kilo of sugar as an extra ballast. Now, you told me you changed, you start giving. So you have given your first kilo of sugar how many months ago? And then you start giving your second kilo of sugar, and then you're giving your third kilo of sugar. But what has it done to you? It has released you from a lot of weight. So you're more flexible, you have more room to think, you have more room to generate, because you're already given 3 kilos of sugar away. Now, most probably you already have reached to the point you have given away all your 20 kilo of sugar. So you're more lighter, you're not struggling with the pain of carrying the 20 kilo, you're more free, you feel so good. Because every time you have given somebody a kilo of sugar, they said, for that gift, they said, thank you. Because you've given it away, you didn't sell it. So the rewarding system is that you have received, and at the same time you have gone lighter to absorb more for you to give more and faster your kilos away for free. This is the same. The faster you give away, the faster you set yourself free of that 20 kilo of sugar, the faster you will reach to your point of your soul. Now, that 20 kilo of sugar, was that magic? No. There is no magic. It's the reality, isn't it? So if you give your anger, if you give your anger away in a package, but you make sure it doesn't go to harm nobody else, and instead you create 1 kilo of happiness and you give it to somebody, you see the difference? You empty your load of what is depressing you. I named it sugar, but you can name it anger, you can name it stress, you can name it any name you like, but you have lifted the weight. And you made that decision. You're the pivot point. Now, the wish works the same way. You don't need to wish to change. You don't need to wish to give away, to receive, so that you can go into a higher state that you can declare, I am setting myself free. You set yourself free of 20 kilo of sugar. What did you gain instead of those 20 kilo? Now you have to look at that. How does a body totally changes when you release 20 kilo of weight on it? You try to walk with 20 kilo of sugar.
It changes a lot.
Of course it does.
It changes a lot because I started giving all that sugar away a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, relatively long time ago. And then I took your advice. I know you seen that I need to get rid of the clutter, so I took your advice and I just got rid of a lot of the stuff out of my room and boxed it all up. And you know, it can be a time capsule somewhere else, or one day if I ever need some gifts, maybe I'll find some gifts in there instead of buying stuff. But it's like, if I got rid of that clutter and I started sitting on my bed and I started being like, okay, like it's a lot cleaner in here, things of this nature. And I started feeling my heartbeat. And so I just started like kind of like following my heartbeat a little bit with my mind. And then I noticed that when I started following my heartbeat with my mind, I think it felt like I started to rock forward and backward a little bit. And I was like, well, I felt this before, just kind of like, you know, like a pulsing going on. And then I was like pretty sure I wasn't moving, like it was just my blood. Like when your blood pumps, if you think about it, you can feel it moving through the different parts. And so I was kind of feeling it, and I was kind of going forward and backward a little bit. And I was like, so I took my mind with it and started to like slow it down, because I believe that like with the root chakra and the lower frequencies that drive the higher frequency, I try to slow it down. And when I did, I noticed that it felt like it was moving around. It wasn't moving back and forward. That's just the way it felt when it was fast. But when I slowed it down, it was moving around. And I found myself like slightly even starting to have motion of moving around. And then I was like, you know, this is cool. And but I thought about it in my mind, and it really brought me back to like autistic people and how when they have that rocking going on. And you know, that's what it kind of felt like to me, though I'm not autistic, and you know, I don't really know exactly what that'd be like, but I mean, I could feel like I was getting into a zone. And to be real with you, I was ready to lift off my bed. In my mind, I was like, this could happen right now. And you know, so then I tried to start pulsing some of my lower like energy or whatever, but then I kind of lost sight of it all and just took it for like a slight gain in the learning experience. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about, like uncluttering too. Is like, so you can kind of start to pay attention to the fields of your body. And I'm thinking about my blood is like, well, it is iron. It's so red that when I taste it, like if I get a little cut in my mouth or whatever, it's like, you know, they'd be like, you can taste that iron. And it's like, it's in there. And, you know, the more I learn about science and the more I learn about energy, like it makes perfect sense to me that that field is real. And like, I know I'm tapping into it. And I notice when I slow it down, you know what I think is going on in my mind is like a little less than tapping into the universe's exact pulse, but I think that I was getting closer to Mother Earth's pulse. And I'm starting to think in my mind that when I'm making my wishes and my desires, I'm going to start including that field of the earth, because I'm starting to feel like she holds the key to all this. The way the ground rod works, the way everything works, is that if I can get her permission with this, or her, you know, call it a boy or a girl, but if I can get this field behind me, I feel like it's gonna really, and like I was always thinking like going with more than one person, and I still do that, like try to do this thing together. But then I'm also thinking of it. Really came to me the other day to start thinking about the earth when involved in this, and I just want to share that
No,
with everyone because it's relevant
no,
somehow.
no, it doesn't.
Okay.
And it isn't, because you're very near, you're so close, but you're putting the strength again outside you. You're linking it. You need the permission or the field strength from another support source, while you are the complete source yourself. The only thing you need to do is to accumulate your own fields, bring them to one center point, and understand that, and then you can carry, because that's where the connection in reality sits. Not outside, not belonging to anywhere, but always in full gratitude, yes, but not, you don't need no permission. You don't need no consent. You don't need no external field strength. You need to be able to accumulate your own field strength to one center point, which is you, for then to add that field strength, and then that will be, as we say, your magical point. So stop asking permission, or you don't need no permission from nothing. Because when you say I am, and the kilos of sugar is I am free, now you're totally capable of accumulating your complete field strength within you to bring it to one pivot point, your center point. And then you can work and interact with it in all freedom.
Thanks for the clarification. I told you before, I say your words are like your words are like gold to me. Your teachings are the gold that I was looking for. You know, I know we're all trying to maybe possibly make gold with Magra, but to me, what you say is gold. Thank you.
Yeah, because otherwise you put the power again to somewhere else when you are complete.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. You know, that I was kind of doing that out of respect, or a way to like really get more power from it, but I really should probably just stick with my own power before I start working directly with the earth like that.
Because you're complete. You don't need to rely on any other power. The only reason why the ganses are there is when the disturbance are too big, that you can receive from that to get the support field strength to increase your field strength, that you can come to a stable energy level. Then that gives you that kickstart to be more at peace, more released from the stress, so that you create the steps which we just explained. Otherwise, you would go back. When you go to Mother Earth, yeah, as you explained, then you go back to your GANS bottle and you need the field strength from the ganses. Why would you do that for, when Mr. Kesh says now we can walk away from the field strength from the ganses, now we're going to work on soul level.
Yeah,
because
I like that. Well, yeah, I need reminded that.
Earth is a physical entity with a field strength, but if we are going to work on soul level, you are complete.
And it's all about going to space. Going to space, not going into the earth, in a way.
No, he was thinking that he needed to add the energy.
Well, many people
Yeah, I was even
like
thinking,
to talk about the
I
earth
was even
energy,
thinking that
the
if I
earth
don't,
mother, and so on.
sorry.
And it's a common thing that people connect with to rejuvenate and to get their energies back and that kind of thing, and get their spiritual energies going. But could you explain that again a little bit, Caroline? Because you touched on that, and I think it's an important point to clarify a little better.
What do you want
Well,
to clarify?
what would you say to people that need to rejuvenate through the earth, for example? That's like going out into nature to get rejuvenated.
No.
That's different.
You know what you breathe? You receive more energy through breathing and through your skin than through your eating, consuming food. Because we all know, because if people are burned 90% of their body, they most probably will not survive because of the lack of energy they can receive. Now, when Mr. Kesh was very clear about we are moving away from the ganses and creating the matter state, which is the CO2, zinc, Cu, and CH3. He said the step from there was work through the field strength. Understand they carry each their own field strength. It's not the water, it's the field strength which you have transferred. And then from that step, he went to the soul level teaching. The soul level is that you are perfect because of the teaching we had before when he explained that you have a sperm with a portion of energy and you have an egg with a portion of energy. That's in the matter state. When those two come together because you both wish, let's say, to create a child, another being, another soul, that is the initiative of the intent to create, but in the matter state. When the matter state has used all its energy, which was in the egg, or which was in the sperm, and it has reached high enough to the point, then the soul gets received in the matter state. And then the rest is a growing process in the matter state, your physicality. But what did he explain when the soul, where does the soul come from? He said the soul receives from right across your ancestors, right across all the souls, right across all the universes, all the planets, whatever is existing, you receive the field strength. So each soul is perfect. It has received everything because it cannot have any shortage, because otherwise it would not be able to be born, to be created. From that point on, you have a perfect soul. Your physicality is growing around this soul, which is creating, through the explanation of Mr. Kesh, the physical soul. Now, the soul and the physicality is when it stays, let's say, you isolate it and you give it the pure teachings, as Mr. Kesh has been encouraging all of us, that even the two people which will create the child, that they know what they're doing. They're accumulating their full energy potential, their intent for that child to be born, to receive and to be there with all the knowledge. Then the soul will find, if you, let's say, you isolate that couple with that child in an environment that it doesn't receive what we all have received, but in the pure teaching of guiding from the before it's born, when it's born, that it receives all the knowledge to, let's say, grow in its purity, then there will be no magic, because that child, through his nature of it, what it has received in the as high knowledge and understanding, it will work the magic what we are all searching for now, because it will not have those ballast, as I explained, with the kilos. It won't carry all these kilos of from the parents, from the situation is born in, they are rich, they're not rich, they're happy, they're not happy, the social structure, the myths of understanding the religion, you know, all these imprints. It will not have received it. It will be touched, because it will be taught from the minute from on soul level. So all the debris and all the overballast will not be there. Now, we have to do the reverse of understanding, that we have to clean up. We have to do this kilo sugar, giving it away, knowing that we are giving them away, but with the purpose why we are giving them away, to make us lighter, that we can receive more the right way, to go into a higher frequency, because that's adding to our physical soul. But when we clean up all this debris of all these extra kilos, which are called sugars, the faster you go in cleaning it up, the higher you go into your field strength, which where other field strengths can start appearing for you, because you are elevating. But at the same time, do not forget, when you do this kind of elevation process, you elevate all the other souls, because we all come from the same source. We have received all the same. You just ignite it much faster. So you're not doing it only for yourself. You are touching all the other souls to go in this higher frequency, which we always, Mr. Kish explained it, I try to always emphasize on it. When you go to that higher strength, your physicality has to change, because it's not vibrating anymore in the lower field strength, it goes to a higher field strength. So more doors will open up in your pursue what is your filter that you want to grow in. And that's your intent, and that's your direction where you're going to go. And this is where you're going to be that part of the totality. No higher, no lower. You just increase in energy strength, because you're pure, you're elevating you first your physical soul, your matter state, so that the other side in field strength can come more to your strength. So your physical always will go up, up, up. So the lower frequencies cannot touch you anymore. That's why when you use the word I am free, it does not bother nobody. It does not harm nobody, because you're on that path, but at the same time, knowing you serve so many other souls, because you're going to reach them to go higher. And at the same time, they're boosting you up. It's the energy field. It's everywhere in the drawings. It's everywhere in our beautiful teams which are making these videos, showing where the energy field, it always goes back to its center. So you don't lose it. It's just strengthen it. And when you are in your matter state, your physical state, now what is this? This is a bundle of energy in the physical matter state. Now, if you know through the teaching of Mr. Kesh what is in this physical matter state, which is your body, what is present? One of it is copper, but it's the majority. What are the other amino acids, and what other field strengths do you have? So if you know the field strengths and you start working through the field strength, what you know through the knowledge, which is present in your physical, and now you start working and interacting with this physical strength, let's say we name one, which is copper, and you connect with your intent to the field strength of the copper, you will see what is going to start changing. because you're accumulating the fields to one position because you know the strength of copper. Now, if you work through the totality and you can accumulate all the field strength to one point, where is this energy going to go without losing your physicality, without losing your matter state? It's going to be added to your soul. And that's where the connection sits, because you freed yourself from all the debris, all the extra kilos of sugar. And the faster you can connect and collect this field strength, and you're aware of it, and you only work through the field strength, not through the matter state, you add through your soul for it to show its beauty. And this is the expression of the universe through beauty, through giving, through forgiving, through I am free. You're setting the soul free, that it can come and show and work through the true expression of his beauty. Because you decide to change the clutter. You decide to be a good person. You decide to become a nice person. And it has taken us a long road of suffering. Why? It has been such a great gift making so many mistakes. It has been a great gift being so ugly. It has been a great gift to go through so much pain. Why? Because we know exactly what not to do, to reverse the whole process into pure beauty, which means I'm free. If I didn't know how much pain was, if I didn't know how angry I could get, if I didn't know if I did something wrong, how bad the correction was or the punishment was, I couldn't make the choice, could I? But because I went through this choice, and that's the difference when I explained first, when you grow and nourish a child, premeditated, it will not go through this suffering path where we all are now, that we have to reverse the process of understanding. Because we created the path for it to be understood in the environment of working on soul level straight away. We have freed by isolating, by giving it the right nourishment that it can develop without all the extra kilos of sugar, because it never had to taste it, it never had to go sick from it, it never had to carry the sugar. Because we give it pure beauty and the essence of beauty. That's why in the teachings of Mr. Kesh, he says, we need to support men and women that they are in full strength before they make or create another soul or being, that it carries the full strength, that it can come out as pure as possible in a higher level.
Mrs. Caroline, I definitely support your wish for children to be able to live that life and to be raised like that. I feel like that is so
But
correct.
that's what we are all learning. So if we teach now our generation of our children how to treat their girlfriends, how to treat their boys, if we know and we pay attention and we correct them now, then we are already in that changing path that the new children, the new generation from your children will already carry that gift. But if we don't start now, how can they come up if we don't? So you start with changing as you confirmed, so you start seeing the changes. Then when you pass this on to your children, you are increasing their speed track of getting there faster. And you still can even go to your parents and give them that addition and embrace them into your new way. Was that clear enough, Rick?
I think you were crystal clear, Caroline. That was great. Very good dissertation there.
Any more questions?
Not from Miss Lund. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Violet says, new seeds will sprout and grow in the correct position that is in balance for their souls. Okay.
So we don't need to wish, huh? We need to create.
I think I hear Mr. Kesh in the background.
Yes, he's in a meeting.
Okay.
He called me up to, as we sometimes have, family dinner with the Kesh knowledge seekers. So if you hear the cutlery and the pans and the pots moving, you're welcome in my dining room. So that's where he says, you can. And this was one example of start. You are the wish when you make the decision to make that direction of choice and you start adding in the benefit of whatever you want and can. And that is where you already start making that pivot point of change.
Can I ask something, Caroline?
Of course. Who are you?
I am Jalal from...
Okay, Jalal. That's only for the people who don't know you yet. I know you.
I know me. Did anyone hear yesterday the Ghanaian president in the conference with the French president? Did you hear his speech yesterday?
Yes, I did.
It had a lot of meaning, and if anyone follow the teaching of Mr. Cash, he will notice that he will consider that this president also he's a knowledge seeker, because the way and the confident and the speech exactly what we are learning and exactly what we are wishing for the others to be. So we are making the change.
Our wishes are our commands.
Yes. And don't forget me in your dinner. Huh?
I'm still waiting to taste your kebab.
I am waiting to give it.
Okay, I wonder if we should wrap things for today, Caroline, and allow you to have your dinner there. Or is there any more questions or comments or other interactions?
No, I like to have other people having more sharing on I can, you can, we can.
Okay. I see, Ursula, you have your hand up, but I'm not sure if that was from before or that you want something to say now. I'll lower your hand. You can say something if you wish.
Yes, I make my hand down, but I can say that I was very impressed and so powerful teaching from Carolina. I'm 100% with you. I feel your feelings and I'm very glad to work with you. Very, very powerful teaching. Thank you very much.
I hope we are not in a quiz board, Rick.
Quiz board?
Yeah, did you hear that noise?
Yeah. Sounded like a quiz board, yep. Not me, though. Okay, do we have any other input, especially regarding this this topic which has come up of wishing, I wish versus I can?
Any more wishes or sharing somewhere else?
There was a question from Jean-Jacques Dermont about reading the French words of the UC, and can he
That
read
will
them?
be for Thursday.
Okay, is he the one that would read the French version?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for Thursday morning.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's
if
good.
It's completely translated in French, yes. And if it's been proofread, that is correct, and yeah. Because last week it was Spanish, if I remember correct.
Spanish, or was it Portuguese?
No, it was Portuguese, yes.
Yes,
With Rui.
Do you have it ready in Spanish as well? Ursula, do you have it ready in Spanish?
Yeah, yes, it's ready. We need to put
that's a question for me, Jean-Jacques.
Jean-Jacques, ok.
Hello.
Si c'est correct, vous pouvez présenter un jeudi matin, mais vous devez passer le fil correct, que c'est contrôlé par les traducteurs, que ça peut passer jeudi matin.
Okay, I have understand. I think the translation is correct. We have made it with four persons, and
you have a lot of noise on your microphone. Can you check your microphone,
That
please?
was Hassan, and I muted him.
I am going to see the problem with Frederic, and we are going to present the translation to the committee. Or do you think I can present the text next week?
It has to be okayed by our translation team.
Okay.
So maybe you have to send it to Rick, for Rick to be able to send it to, I think it's Stanley who's taking care of this. I'm not sure.
Okay.
There's an email to send it to.
If I have well understand, I send my word to Rick. That's right?
There's an email address that people are supposed to send the translations to, so they can be approved in the UC and so on. I'm trying to find that.
Vince. Okay, Vince. Okay, I write.
There it is. Yes, peace@theearthcouncil.org. So that's peace@theearthcouncil.org.
Can you write another time the address, the post address, the mail address?
It's in the chat there. I can also put it to you in your question.
Okay, peace earth. Okay.
Yep, there it is.
Also, it's in the end of the document of the manifest of the Constitution of Earth Council.
Okay.
Good point.
I send the text in the next minute. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I will do that.
Okay, I'll just mute you. Okay, someone already did that. Okay, sir. Anything else to bring up? Just looking over the comments here. I'm told the Spanish is in the final proofreading and correction. And James says the EC document translation in French was sent to the webmaster several days ago. So apparently there's already a French translation. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to get that worked out at the in the EC group.
Please, Ursula, if it's ready in Spanish, send it to this email, then we'll see what is confirmed for next Thursday to come up live. And I encourage any knowledge seeker who is good in translating to translate the paper, and then it will be corrected or adjusted, and then you're more than welcome to come and read it in Thursday morning Knowledge Seekers Workshop. We're going to go to 201, Rick, or are we going to restart?
Well, this is a big question. I'm not sure what Mr. Kesh would like to do. He mentioned possibly ending things at one point, but I'm ready to go with another one, another 201. What does he think about that?
I'm going to have to ask him, but I can't ask him anything now. We're trying to avoid each other's microphones, that they don't interact.
Yes. Don't let the streams cross. Literally. Yes, okay, so
I tried to ask him about the weekend, but I can't get his attention.
Right.
So it's going to have to wait till Thursday, I think.
Okay, well, as always, we tend to do just-in-time delivery and trying to sort of wing it as we go, so we'll figure it out. Okay.
Anybody, any more questions in the I'm free? Does anyone have the feeling they have somewhere not grasped or they want additional? Anywhere, don't hesitate, because we're all here to see. If you ask the questions, then more doors are opening up. To sometimes to look at it from a totally different perspective. So it's again adding knowledge to someone somewhere else which understands it in a different way, easier way, because you put the question in a different way. So please do not hesitate. It's not because we are answering. If you still have that urge to ask that something is not fully understood, there is no problem. Shoot your questions.
Okay, can I speak, Jean-Jacques?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. I have just sent the answer and the paper to verify the translation.
Okay, I'm told by James in the Q&A here that the EC document translation in French was sent to the webmaster several days ago. So somebody has already translated that document.
Okay, okay. Well understand. Okay.
Now we have to decide who is to read it. I'm not clear on that. That's up to the EC people. You suggested you could read it, correct?
Okay.
So we have to find out from. Can anybody tell me in the EC group here now that who is to read the French?
I have not well understand because the sound is very far away.
Mm-hmm.
You have a low voice.
Okay, maybe my microphone's too low or whatever. I'm trying to ask people in the group, the Universal Community Group, or the UC group, if anyone knows who is supposed to read the French, or is that for Jean-Jacques Durmont to do? Oh, Finn says there's no EC members.
I will contact Stanley, because I don't understand who sent the other one in. From who is the first translation that gone in? They will compare them and see. But Jean-Jacques, if I don't find who has translated the first one, could you please at least be on standby on Thursday morning to read the French, because we don't have a French USC member anymore.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Merci.
I think Libby might have been asked to do that as well. I'm not sure if that's still ongoing. Anyway, we can work that out in the background, I guess.
Yeah, that's not difficult. We just need to know who sent the first one in and who it is, and we'll see what comes out of it. And on Thursday it will be announced. If Jean-Jacques can stay or on standby, then we will see what happens.
If you want to know, I am a teacher level 3D.
Yes, I know, j'ai compris. C'est pas un problème. C'est justement, on ne sait pas qui a envoyé le premier. Et on va, si vous êtes au stand-by pour jeudi matin, on va voir les décisions jeudi matin, ou autrement, vous me mettez un message en Messenger et je peux te informer plus vite.
Ok, ok.
Mais premier, je dois me faire en contact avec le traducteur de savoir qui a fait le premier. Et ce n'est pas un problème, ça va être sortir, pas de problème.
Okay. I wait for.
Merci.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much.
James says he can tell us who and what is translated and sent in the Q&A. So I've opened him up to being able to talk here.
Okay, shall we start with the French? The French was translated by the French translation team, which was coordinated by Frédéric, and was proofread and controlled by Milner, and has been sent to the webmaster. The Spanish was translated by a Spanish lady, and it's now with the EC Council member for South America, Rodriguez, is correcting it. What else have we got? I'll just check. Just bear with me a second. Translations.
One moment, please. Le monsieur qui veut faire pour faire lire au jeudi matin, vous doit, s'il vous plaît, mettez dans votre message que c'est à part de ça, parce qu'autrement, moi, j'ai trop tant de différents noms et je ne vais pas te trouver. Comme ça, vous doit marquer dans votre message que c'est à cause de jeudi matin, s'il vous plaît.
Okay, shall I finish my sentence? Or?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what's been sent? So far, you've had the Polish, that's been sent, that was controlled by the Polish group and by the UC member of Poland. That's been sent to Webmaster. You've got the Bulgarian, that's not been proofread, but we don't have anyone to do that, but that was translated by one of the students, Bulgarian. The French was done by the French translators with Frédéric and Mrs. Milner. That's also been sent to the webmaster. The Bengali was done by the Bengali European Council language representative, Rashid. That's also been sent. The German's been sent. That was controlled by, done by the German translators and was controlled by Caroline Filler. That's also been sent. And the Portuguese has also been sent, and I think that's also been presented. So far you have the Polish, Bulgarian, French, Bengali, German, and Portuguese. And the other ones are on their way. And it's all been sent to the
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
For the Romanian, you can always ask support from Sander, I think. Is that correct, Sander?
Yeah, he's Hungarian, I think.
Yeah, but he's fluent in both languages.
Oh,
yes, I am. So
Hungarian
shall I do the translation, or is done by the user translator?
It's checking, Sander, in the two languages.
For reviewing, I'm ready for any. So I can review and correct if needed, or I can suggest correction, both in Hungarian, both in...
Oh, and something else, Sander. Something else just clicked on me because you're so brilliant. You speak Romanian, Hungarian, and Russian, don't you?
Я говорю очень плохо по-русски. It progressed very badly in Russian. That's the
So,
minimum survival to ask a taxi and to go to somewhere. That's
do
just
you
really
know?
basic.
Do you know anyone who can please translate it in Russian for us, please?
My wife is native Russian, but she is not proficient in English at all.
But she can Romanian. So once you translate it in Romanian or Hungarian, she can translate it in Russian, can she?
From Hungarian only. She doesn't know Romanian.
You see, I found you.
We are international family.
Oh, like so many.
Yes. So love doesn't know borders.
No, nope. That's exactly what we're doing. So, for the translation team, if you don't have any help in Russia, I just found you one.
Okay.
You're more than welcome, Sander.
Now, what I can do is to make a raw translation by machine translation, which is not pretty bad in between English and Russian, because those languages have many millions of speakers. And then she can correct it to proper Russian sentences.
Yeah, because I know a boy from Russia, but his Russian is very rusty. So he's taking care of the Russian group, but he said my Russian is getting built up, refreshed, because I want to, but he's not fluent enough to do this kind of translations.
There was a Russian translation sent in. They should have it in the group there. Or
So
someone is supposed to do that.
Sander's lovely wife can maybe do a double check if needed.
Okay.
Russian translation, we have already the Russian translation. It's just not formatted, so it's being formatted at the moment.
That's great. You can pass it to me for doing a native review by my wife. I can ask her to.
Okay, super. As soon as we get it back, I'll send it to you, Sander.
Okay, thank you very much. Did the Romanians do anything yet? Because they used to be very fast in translations.
I think somebody's on it right now, yeah. We're waiting for Arabic. We haven't got anything from the Arabic yet. And I think that's
Jalal or Jamil.
And Norwegian's being done right now.
And Swedish, do you have Swedish?
Swedish, no. We have somebody who'll do the Danish. Maybe Willie can do Swedish. I'll have to talk to him about that.
Okay. It's so nice to have so many people working for one target. And it's not easy to translate such a long paper.
So I saw on the Romanian language study group translation of the Constitution, which was posted. So we go through that. So have you got that at the translation team?
Yeah, we've spoken to the person that does it. It's a Romanian native speaker that does that, and he's working on it right now. But it has to be formatted in the correct fashion.
Okay.
What else are we waiting for? Okay, the Hungarian, we're waiting for that, Sandro. Gikuyu, Gatwa's going to do that, and Inumi is doing Japanese. Vietnamese, I don't know the status of that. Italian, we don't have anybody. I spoke to Stefania, she's looking for people that can do that. Okay, so that's basically the status for that.
I think we start coming close to our closing. Rick, what do you think?
Yes, I believe so.
We are within the 4 hours.
Yeah, we have to shut down shortly, actually.
Not
Before
to
you go,
have,
I want to say something, please.
not to have to restart everything again.
Right.
Yes, Jalal, very fast that we can
Yes.
close within the time frame, please.
Yes, for the Arabic section, Jamila, she is doing it. Yesterday I was talking to her, and she is doing it. And if you need any languages, I can do it. If you wait for me, I learn it, and I will can do it. No problem.
Okay, if you send her the email, then you can verify between you two how correct, because I know it's a big job in Arabic.
Yeah.
You cannot just take the text and translate it. It has to have the meaning and the soul in it, as we say.
Yes, yes.
As this is for every soul, for every language, every culture, that it can vibrate with the people.
Absolutely. But she is doing it, and we are going to manage to do it. No problem.
Okay. Rick, you got 4 minutes to close the session. I thank you all for being here. It was a beautiful late afternoon, and I thank you all.
Well, thank you so much, Caroline. I know many people are very thankful for the words that you put through today, and to help clarify some of the terms and some of the ways, the means of how this is to be happening. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.
As Ursula says, gratitude.
Oh, we ate a lot of sugar today, didn't we?
Well, you should feel a lot lighter, though. Not heavier, if you let go.
I cut my sugar in my coffee, so that's already a good achievement.
Okay. All right, so let's wrap it up for today. This has been the 20th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, December 5th, 2017. As always, thank you everybody for attending. And I think we're going to close with some music. Are we going to close with music, Vince? Should I?
Do you have it? I don't have it here in front of me yet.
I don't have the longer, the new.
No, it's not the new one, but the other slideshow with the music would be good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have that in front of me here. Let's see.
By the way, that is a great
there we
work,
go.
and I know you all have been working very hard to get that one finished.
Okay, we'll put on the regular slideshow then. Let me get that set up.
We're going out dancing. Happy souls, happy soul.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, here we go on the slideshow.